The one key trend that we see is emerge in the UK is the click and collect is really big, is really important, and that has a huge impact on the fulfillment. And it goes back to Robert's point about how logistics has changed and how fulfillment is a big play for retailers. We feel at the moment that in Germany there is an opportunity to improve the click and collect, and there is increasing amount of retailers that are looking to enforce that from the big players, and that will have essentially that will have a trickle-down effect to the real estate portfolio. Ultimately, e-commerce is going to get big everywhere, but that final mile, the UK model isn't the perfect model, and we wouldn't always recommend looking at that because it's not profitable. So I think people are looking at the UK, but using some initiatives like click and collect to reduce their investment from a retail point of view.
I actually had somebody from British Land come by and present to our German teams because they're very far. You probably know that. Maybe a bit too far in the sense that they put a hold on their tenants. But okay, that's to be discussed. But yes, we do. They're a bit slower than the UK market, but we're seeing the changes and they're taking that along this refurbishment move, which I was speaking of. They're saying, okay, we need to do something. We need to change. We need to adapt ourselves to the quite young buying, because the Germans continue to buy. They have enough money to spend. So yes, I do see that coming through. They're still looking for the tools on how to do that. How far do they want to go with it? What kind of risks are they going to take to facilitate this e-commerce? Because that might change also. They don't know where it's going to go, but there's money to spend as investment in that.
In all parts of Europe, in all European cities, will enlarge the difference between the A1, well, the inner city, the best parts of the inner city retail segment, and well, the B2 or not the best parts. And the difference between those locations will really become bigger and bigger, because at the top retail location, prime retailers are there, which can combine their internet sales with social media, things like that. So offering the customers a total experience, not only physical but also on the internet. And then on the B location, they're not that wealthy retailers who can't meet up the speed in investing in social media, things like that. So the customer at the end of the day will very much be focused on the best parts of the inner cities, in the bigger cities, and then in all the other cities, the smaller, mid-size cities, and also in the B segments of the retail markets, also in the big cities, you will see some problems in retail. I think the Netherlands is the lesson for Europe. I think we're most advanced in internet sales, and this picture is already showing in the Netherlands. And I would not be surprised if you see it in the rest of Europe. And that's why I think retail is very interesting investment segment, also in UK, but very much also in Germany. But then in the best parts, in the city parts of the bigger cities, then it's interesting. Elsewhere, don't go to retail anymore, I think.
I wanted to add one more point onto Boris's point there. I do think that if you look at the retailers in the Netherlands, someone like the Bijenkorf has been able to cover the whole of the Netherlands in 6 cities and using the internet. They're getting the whole market penetration by using the key cities. I think on this point about the B locations, actually, we have done a lot of work, and we do a lot of work with British Land actually. The secondary cities or the secondary locations, if they do have a good click and collect, those locations, if they are convenient, will be shopped at more frequently. And I think that is a way which some, particularly B cities or B locations, can actually create relevance, and click and collect can support that. And this is, if you look at British Land's portfolio across the whole of the UK, it's not all prime cities. Some of them are in the secondary cities, and they've got phenomenally, up to 10% of people are using click and collect, are coming specifically to that centre just to click and collect something. And I think the lesson can be learned as you have to push the retailers to do that, and British Land are actually quite good at doing that.